Hello class, for my final presentation, I chose to research Irish mythology, and the myth I chose was Bean Seedahay. So just some little background, a Bean Seedahay was a fairy spirit that would wail whenever a family member was about to die. In English, we referred to them as banshees. The Bean Seedahay didn't cause death, but announced the death or warned loved ones that death was near so they could prepare. Some believe she escorted their loved ones safely to the afterlife. Death, like creation, is one of those inexplicable facets of life. Many cultures employed myths in order to wrap their minds around how and why these things occurred. To hear her keening is a sign that a member of your family will die that night. According to folklore, she is usually dressed in a gray cloak and green dress, and her eyes are red from weeping constantly. If one were to catch a Bean Seedahay, the person could force her to tell him who will die. Some more background on the actual Irish mythology is in the time of Judaism, she may have originally been a house spirit like the Roman lares. A lair was a deceased ancestor who was the protector of the family. There is some speculation that the origin of the Tuatha De Danann may be found in ancestor worship. That is, this is a fairy woman, but properly translated, she is a woman of the hills, specifically the Seedahay, the burial mounds found throughout the British Isles. As such, the origin of the Bean Seedahay may have been a sort of ancestor worship, later mutated into fairies or supernatural gods. So, relation to Irish mythology through this myth is that the concept of a Bean Seedahay can also be found in Irish mythology, such as the stories of Oisin in the Land of the Youth or the Adventures of Conlay. A fairy woman, often the mother of Manhan MacLear, comes to a hero and sings him away across the ocean to the other world. He follows her to the death of King Arthur, who was brought to Avalon by Morgan Le Fay. Like the common Bean Seedahay, these fairy women sing to the dying and bring them to the other side. Finally, the Banshee can appear in one of three guises: a young woman, a stately matron, or a raddled old hag. These represent the triple aspects of the Celtic goddess of war and death, namely Badin, Macta, and Mor Riogain. Each Banshee has her own mortal family and is familiar to the person, so if they move to another island, the Banshee also moves. When a familiar Irish person is dying, she paces the dark hills about his or her house. She is also known as the White Lady of Sorrow and Lady of Death. Unseen, banshees attend the funerals of the family dead, but out of love and respect, she never forgets her blood ties. Sometimes she can be heard wailing as her voice blends in with the mournful cries of others. And that's everything for my slide. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me. I highly recommend this. I'm not very keen to a lot of myths. They just aren't very interesting, but this one was very short, and I have never heard of it personally, and it entertained me and kept me interested throughout the whole myth. Thanks again.